Do not call yourself a marrow. There is a reference to this in the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 20. This is the story of a woman called Naomi and her friend Ruth. Naomi went through a whole process in which she lost everything: her husband, her sons, her security, her entire life. And she's quite bitter about it. And she comes to the Lord and opens about it. She pours her heart. We can see there is this set of key aspects that the Lord wants us to go through with her story. And the first one is that honest lament is part of faith. So we can see how Naomi's not pretending. She comes to the Lord. She speaks openly about whatever is bothering her after all she went through. And God allows us to bring everything, all of these emotions that are bothering us or causing us trouble, whatever it is: disappointment, sadness, anger. Faith is just about trusting Him in the midst of sorrow and not pretending at all. We can also see how bitterness can distort our identity. That is exactly what was happening to Naomi here. She went from being called Naomi, which means pleasant, to being called Mara, which means bitter. So she was letting somehow her suffering, her bitterness, to redefine and rename her. So hard seasons may try to rename us as broken, as forgotten, as defeated. But the Lord does not accept those labels. He has His own name for us, and it's rooted in hope, not in pain. We can also see how God is already at work even when we feel empty. Much later we can see in verse 21 when Naomi says, "I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me." So in reality, she's not empty. She has Ruth by her side, whose loyalty would lead to the lineage of King David, and much later, ultimately, Jesus. So Naomi cannot see it yet at this point, but the Lord is already preparing restoration for her. So we may feel empty at times, and at the same time, God is planting something in us that we cannot really recognize. Very often, His provision is just standing right beside us, and we cannot see it. So it's just about time that we finally come across it. Lastly, we can get from this whole story that marriage is just a temporary thing. God writes the ending. So Naomi's story does not end in bitterness and failure. By the end of the book, we can see how Naomi becomes a caregiver to Obed. So much later, there's one verse in which the women say, "For your daughter-in-law is better to you than 7 sons." So Naomi goes back again from being named Naomi to Mara, and then Mara to Naomi. So her family becomes the line of the Messiah later on. So God transforms these bitter seasons into places of blessing. What feels like an ending to us is very often the beginning of something new, the beginning of God's redemption. So the main takeaway we can get from all this is that it's okay to be honest about your bitterness. God will not leave you there. Your pain may rename a season, but it will never rename your destiny. So do yourself a favor and do not call yourself a marrow ever again. From now on, call yourself a Naomi.